What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Geeky Gecko Creations live stream. I am trying to get more consistent on Mondays again. So tonight we are just going to talk geckos. I did bring my whiteboard. So in case anyone has calculation questions, I lost my Windex, and so I just spent like 5 minutes trying to clean this old writing with like water or whatever. But we could do percentage calculations, we could do line breeding calculations, or anything else that I might need to like draw a picture for or something. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm just kind of on a break right now from cleaning geckos all day and checking eggs. And then I will probably be checking, some of our black knights are like late year breeders, so I'll be checking them too, to see if some of the girls actually wind up needing to be paired, because I'm going to pair later tonight as well. So what's going on, DNS? Good to have you here. I'm also studying. Okay, I don't think we're big enough right now, but in the future I would like to start a Patreon, and I'm interested in your guys' ideas for what you find valuable that I can add to a Patreon subscription that you're not getting on YouTube. So mentioning people's names in the videos is popular. What did I see today? There was something else too that I thought was a good idea. I don't remember. I wrote it down. But anyway, hey, Jay Lee. Good to see you. As mentioned, I did bring a whiteboard. So if you guys have calculation questions, let me know, and we can hit the board. I love calculation questions. So, yeah, I kind of want, Patreon takes a lot of time, right? So if I'm taking a lot of time already to do YouTube, it's kind of like pointless for me right now to create special content that's only going to limit our viewers, you know what I mean? Because I'm not like super large yet, so like only a limited, it's not going to promote the business anymore or our brand anymore. So it's just going to be time consuming, and I probably won't get a lot of like brand recognition or promotion out of it. But I would like to offer a Patreon one day to give people something that they don't get from here, right? Because everyone wants something special, and a lot of times people don't mind paying a few dollars a month to get that thing that is special. And so, yeah, I'm just reading comments right now. So if you guys have some comments on what we could do for a Patreon, that would be great. I'm always down to hear that. So get some water here real quick. I apologize if the microphone's picking up the fan a little bit. I'm just kind of relaxing right now, so I wanted to like cool down under the fan. I got the window open, so I got some fresh air coming in. But Patreon, let's see. Oh, special live streams, right? So like right now, I'm going to be interacting with everybody that comes on this live stream, but you can offer special live streams on Patreon where people get a more like one-on-one classroom type, atmosphere, so they can like ask more questions, get more in-detailed answers. A lot of people that follow us are not necessarily looking for like big breeder tips, but that could be another like tier level option as well. Is like I could spend time with somebody showing them the ropes of like things to watch out for that I've learned, and how to scale a business, right, from 30 geckos to 300 geckos, because there's a lot of stuff a lot of moving parts that happens in between, to scale larger. But we are starting to hatch a lot of babies now, so I'm sure if you guys follow us on Instagram or on here on YouTube, I've been showing like some pictures and some videos of some of the babies that I'm really excited about. Really excited about our tangerine, bold, and marine crosses, because they're coming out amazing. I would not sell them if I had the choice, but for space and financial reasons, I'm going to have to sell some. So, off-topic question. Have you tried breeding a tangerine shrimper to a super hypo? That might be my next pairing. Yeah, super hypo and tangerine combinations are very common. So a lot of what you see on our following here is super hypo tangerine, right? So if it doesn't have any black spotting or any patterning to it, then it would be considered a hypo or a super hypo. And a lot of tangerines are already like that from years and years of of breeding Tangerine to look like Charmander, right? So a lot of people want a Charmander-looking gecko, and that's why a lot of Tangerines already are super hypo, you know? Oh, I got it locked away up there. But anyway, I put a picture of a really nice, like, Inferno Mandarin super hypo Tangerine on our Instagram, so you can, check that out, just to give people an idea of the type of quality that comes out of our Inferno Mandarin project. So, and the quality is always going to improve every year. So, like, even though I consider it fire right now, it's going to be even more fire next year. And so that's why I just really been playing the holdback game a lot, because genetics are based off of odds, right? You could have an excellent male and an excellent female, and you could have terrible babies. That's a possibility. But statistically, the odds say that if you have a great male and a great female, you're going to have some okay babies, some mediocre babies, and some fantastic babies. So the more females you have, the greater it increases your odds and the amount of babies you're working with to get better animals. And so that's why I'm so key on numbers of animals, right? So like in this room right now, there's like 300 breeder females, and some of them are what would be considered like on a medium quality level, but it doesn't matter, because if I take an excellent quality male and breed it to a medium quality female, some of the babies are going to come out fantastic, and other of the babies are going to come out mediocre, and some of them might come out a little lower end. But regardless, you can hold back those ones that are like super great quality, So, again, for all the new viewers, if you do have whiteboard questions, now is the time, because I just cleaned this nice whiteboard for drawing. Let me get my pen real quick. So I don't really have any topics I want to talk about. I just want to be like really consistent. I just wanted to offer a live stream for people to talk geckos. We've been really busy lately, so it's been hard for me to like promote this live stream and like grow it, but that will hopefully change. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for the future. I mean, I'm such a passionate person when it comes to like growth and trying to make things perfect. So I'm trying to cram 10 years of breeding into 1 year, and I just have to have patience, right? I just have to understand that that's not going to happen, right? 10 years of followers, 10 years of quality, 10 years of experience, all into 1 year. It's just not going to happen. But you can do your best, and you can grow and enjoy where you're at. So I need to learn to stop and smell the roses, enjoy where I'm at, because I'm in a really good place. Oh, I've been meaning to do like a short little video on this, but our Instagram, if you head over to our Instagram page right now, you will see something that is pretty amazing. About a week ago, we only had 1,800 followers. And I worked really hard growing this YouTube channel for 2 years to get it where it is today. So I focused mainly on YouTube, and then over the last year, I've been focusing on Instagram. And even though I focused on Instagram, I still only grew it to 1,800 followers in the last year. But something changed recently. We had a video go mega viral. And as of this morning, it was at 22 million views. I mean, think of that for a second. 22 million, 22,000,000 people, and that was this morning. It's probably like 25 million by now, have seen this video. So if you guys watched our video that it was like a 5-second video, the little gecko's heartbeat. You guys remember that video on Instagram or YouTube Shorts? Sometimes I share it. That video took off. And last year, we had a viral video with our Tegus. And I believe that was on TikTok. It hit like 400,000 and stopped. And on Instagram, I think it hit about the same. It hit like 400,000 views and then plateaued. But over the last week, this leopard gecko heartbeat video has been rising every single day. It's like multiplying by so much every single day. I'm like, is there even that many people out there? But the thing is, those 22 million people are not just leopard gecko fans. They're animal fans, right? And they're getting to see something that they don't normally get to see. When do you ever get to see the heartbeat of a leopard gecko, right? It's so small, and unfortunately, it was a little baby that was dying in my hand, right? The baby was born with it wasn't premature necessarily, but it had like some little minor deformities. It was malnutrition. So in the egg, the umbilical cord was wrapped around its waist. So when the baby came out, it was very, very malnutrition. And I was, washing it and, just kind of moving it in my hand to see its liveliness. And it was very, like, not lively. A gecko will never allow you to flip it on its back. But I flipped the gecko on its back and I could see its heart beating. So I was like, oh, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I got to take advantage of this. So it was like a 5-second clip of its heart beating, posted it up on social media, and the thing went viral. So 22 million followers, 22 million views as of this morning, almost 400,000 likes. And so that grew our Instagram following from 1,800 followers to almost 10,000 followers in the last week. So glory be to God, that really wasn't my doing. A little bit of luck, a little bit of just, dedication by me posting stuff consistently, and really happy about that, because that's a lot of eyes, a lot of views now on your platform. Instagram followers does not always translate to YouTube followers and vice versa. A great example of that is Gekopia. If you guys know who Gekopia is, he was really, really popular on Instagram before he even started a YouTube channel. He had 17,000 followers on Instagram, and he was posting videos weekly, working really hard on YouTube to get his YouTube followers up. And it took him the last 3 years on YouTube just to get his YouTube he's almost at 5,000 followers now. So he has 17,000 followers on Instagram, probably more now, and he's been grinding like crazy to get 5,000 followers on YouTube. So you can see that it doesn't always translate. Same thing with Luna Geckos. Luna Geckos has almost 20,000 followers on Instagram, but only has 1,000 followers on YouTube. So let me see here. I want to delete this comment. There's some kind of negative comments on here, but I don't know how to delete it, and I don't want to show it. So anyway, just ignore those comments from somebody posting about inappropriate stuff, because that's not what we're about here, and bots will take any opportunity to jump onto your channel and promote. So I would delete them if I could, but for some reason it's not working. No, I don't want to show it on stream. That would be horrible. So anyway, that is the good news that I wanted to share with you guys. That's really exciting, because been working. Yeah, if you block, I can't see the messages. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe YouTube is automatically blocking these comments. I don't know if you saw. Yeah, there you go. Those naughty geckos. I don't know if you guys saw the comments, but it was a bot just spamming some inappropriate stuff. I don't even think it was a person. So, should myself, Dragonheart Exotics, make YouTube videos? Yes. The best thing for the leopard gecko hobby right now is going to be for more content creators to jump on the platform. And that's something that I might make a Patreon about. I might make a Patreon that teaches people how to grow a YouTube channel. There's a very specific set of directions to do that. And also how to build a website, right? So how to build a YouTube channel, how to build a website, how to grow an Instagram, like these things that people want to know from a business level, those are very valuable. People usually pay for classes of those things. And so that might be something that I would put extra time into creating a Patreon for. Because again, the time conversation, Patreon is very time consuming. If I was to make videos and teach on all that kind of stuff, that's very time consuming. So that's something that's Patreon worthy, I think. This little gecko is going nuts over here. Let me see if I can show her. Ooh, you won't be able to see her. I don't think. Maybe. Let me see. Can you see the gecko that's moving around a lot? Let's see. She stopped moving right now. Let's see if she goes back. She was just like window surfing like crazy. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, she's camera shy now. Now she doesn't want to move. Yeah, so the thing about Patreon as well is you want to. Patreon's probably not going to grow so well unless you give people something that is valuable that they're not getting already, right? So I already shoot a lot of YouTube videos. I already create a lot of content because it's good to promote myself and my brand. So that's another thing. Patreon is only limited to the people that you show that stuff to on Patreon. So you want to be really careful not to limit yourself, right? If I made a video on YouTube about how to grow a reptile YouTube channel, it would probably get a lot of views and promote my channel and get me more followers. But YouTube does not make you a lot of money. So from a business perspective, it might be more beneficial to offer that as a Patreon package where people can subscribe to you on some tier of Patreon to get that private information, right? Because I can tell you, you can learn yourself how to edit videos, how to make a YouTube channel and grow it, how to build a website and grow it, those kinds of things. You can learn that yourself, but it takes hundreds of hours of research to figure that kind of stuff out. So I've already done all that research and can kind of, what's the word? Kind of like, rocket you through that. So let's be careful not to drink the reptile water here. Make sure I drink my own water. Nothing like water when you really need it. So anyway, I'm going to try really hard to make the live streams more consistent. If you guys missed it, I do have a whiteboard over here. So if you have any like calculation questions that you want me to go over, please let me know. Whitney is relaxing, watching TV right now. So I figured I would do an hour live stream or so to hang out and promote geckos and take a break. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, which is why I was able to do this. I finished pulling eggs for the day. I think I checked maybe 30 or 40 females I checked today, and out of that we got a lot of fertile eggs or eggs with embryos. I'm doing a little bit of data tracking on this, but just because you get an egg with an embryo does not mean that the embryo is going to make it full term. So I have some data that I'm compiling right now to show some statistics of what could go wrong, or what might not go the full term, and also eggs that might be bad or you think they're bad and they turn out to be good. So all that kind of stuff I'm keeping track of. We are still hoping to get Ron Tremper on a live stream here. I've just been busy, so I wasn't able to reach out to him, but he is our special guest of the month for May, and that's going to be awesome. So I would love to create a legacy stream for him, right? A legacy video that can be like, because he hasn't done YouTube in a long time, but so it could be something that he kind of leaves his footprint on the industry. I don't want to say one last time, but in one of his last times, if he's never going to come back officially, at least I get to have a sort of last live stream with him. He's still kind of behind the scenes on like Facebook, talking to people and working, but for the most part, he's done. So Prosper Morphs, glad to catch you live again. Just posted my first reel yesterday. That is one way to grow your Instagram right now. Is Instagram is really promoting reels. because Reels are a competitor to TikTok. So I used to be hooked on TikTok, but I stopped watching TikTok because TikTok is not necessarily informational, nor is it really educational or even for me entertaining for reptiles. It's the stuff on TikTok is very, very random, and you're gonna get caught into the stuff that's posted on TikTok is more not the style that I want to view and look at. So I've personally started watching a lot more Reels because Reels I feel like for reptile keepers are really good, and YouTube Shorts. So Reels and YouTube Shorts are excellent, but I would say right now Reels is actually better for business promotion for a reptile store than YouTube Shorts is. So do you leave eggs on perlite substrate or do you put them in egg holders? So um, I can kind of show you. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. So I just put all these eggs away today, so I can kind of show you. And I would like do a live stream of me putting away eggs, but there's a lot of attention to detail that I need to make sure I don't mess up, number one. And number two, I have nobody to film me while I'm doing it. So I've just started using these trays from the dollar store to fit eggs because I can fit a certain amount of eggs in here. Um, and I've also started saving a little time and writing in Sharpie on the top what the genetics are and all the background information on like which mom it is. Then I would know which dad it is and all that kind of stuff. So I use vermiculite. I don't use perlite. I had a bad experience with perlite when I first started, and it was probably an innocent experience. My first clutch like molded up and died on me, and then I heard that perlite has chemicals in it sometimes, so I stopped using it. But let me open this here. So I use this 1/8 inch hole puncher, and I use these 3.25 ounce cups, and I punch a hole in it, and that is the air hole. I highly suggest doing air holes because this year the first 14 babies of our season died because they didn't have air holes, is what it seems like. And then I have vermiculite here. So what I'll do is I will tear this scale so it's zeroed out. That's about zeroed out for the weight of a cup. And then I'll put the cup on there, or I'll fill it with vermiculite, just like that, right? I try to get 3 grams of vermiculite, and that's almost 3. It's like 2.87. So 3 grams of vermiculite, and then you want to double it. And I've started going over double because this is so little vermiculite. If you only do a 1-to-1 ratio, sometimes it gets a little dry in there. And even though the eggs are okay, I feel like some eggs would do better with a little bit more moisture. So because it's 3, I want to double it to 6. And then because I want it a little more than 1-to-1 ratio, I'll actually go to 8. So it's at 3 right now. I'll take my little sprayer. I'll spray it till it's about 8. There you go. It's at 9 right now, which is perfectly fine. Then I'll take the lid, shake it up real good, and you're going to get something that's like a little clumpy, but it should not be running with water at all. And then I'll just kind of push it flat. And then I always check eggs for embryos. So I have a flashlight here. I'll check the egg for an embryo, and then I will put the egg inside. I'll put the lid on. I'll write the information that I like to store on the top, and then bam, goes in the incubator. Whether it is a male incubator or a female incubator, we have both, and so that's the process for that. So let me put these eggs away real quick. Be right back. And that's our process for eggs. One day when I have a camera person or something, I can like show you guys the exact process. But there's a lot of data that I keep track of. I did a video that actually shares the spreadsheet with you that I use for keeping track of female information. So obviously there's the male, the female, and then there's a whole bunch of information that I keep track of after that. You know, the condition of the eggs, when to expect the next clutch so that I know when to check every girl. And that'll be stuff, that could be stuff that I show on Patreon as well. How to go from 30 females to 300 females. That, you know, we're learning a lot of tips and tricks on scalability, because there is a big difference between having 30 females in your collection that's laying eggs and then 300. So if anyone ever wants to scale to that level, I will probably make a Patreon tier that is geared towards scalability tips, and then building a website tips, and then building a YouTube channel tips. I think those are good ideas. So sorry guys for the inappropriate comments here. I don't know how to get rid of them. I don't know how to block the person. It's not working on my end. But let me see your guys' comments. So I 3D print egg trays due to my first clutch molding on perlite. Yeah, so some people hover the eggs on egg trays over the water. And to be 100% honest, a lot of eggs are bad. Sometimes 50% of a girl's eggs will be bad or more. So you don't really know if what contributed to the mold was, you know, too much water, or if it was just the fact that her eggs were bad. You know, sometimes embryos don't develop. Sometimes embryos half develop. All that stuff happens, you know. Good grief, these inappropriate comments. But how many eggs hatched today for you? Actually, I haven't checked how many hatched yet today. I usually check on a daily basis. But this week, we probably had maybe 15 or 20 this week. And it seems to be like every other week we get hit by like big waves. So like maybe 20 this week, and then 20, not last week, but the week before last week. So if you follow us on Instagram, you can see I'm starting to post pictures of all the babies that have been growing up here. We probably have somewhere between like 70 to 80 babies right now that are growing up. And then I'm incubating a lot of eggs for females still, because if they don't sell, I'm going to hold them back and replace our breeders with these better babies that'll be growing up. That's another tip. That's called the upgrade. You always want to be upgrading your collection, right? So you'll take the mom and you will sell her off as soon as the baby is breeder size to replace her. If you don't, you know, if you no longer need the mom, you know, numbers wise. Somebody who does this really well in leopard geckos is actually Steve Sykes. Oftentimes on Geckos Etc., you'll see on his website in Morph Market, he will sell girls all the time that are a year or 2 years old. And what that means is he used it for breeding season, and then now he's ready to upgrade. So he's going to downgrade this female and sell it off and replace it with a better female, because at the end of the day, there's only so many geckos that you can breed, right? So if I want to stay at 300 females, I can take 100 of the females that I have now and I can upgrade them next year, you know? So I'll sell off those 100 females, even though they're in their prime and they're going to lay good eggs for somebody. It's not worth me keeping them because now I have females to replace those females. So that's great, Prosper, to know that you would join that. And see, now I'm getting the creative juices flowing of what to do for a Patreon, because I've always wondered, I already create a lot of content. I don't want to make like promotional videos on Patreon that I could be benefiting off of YouTube, because only a few people are going to be on Patreon, but there's a lot of people on YouTube. So I want to promote everything on YouTube that I can, because it grows your business. But at the same time, you do want to use Patreon to add to the bottom line and bring more money into the business with information that is extra valuable, right? So information like how to grow a website or how to build a website, how to scale your operation from 5 geckos to 50 geckos, 50 geckos to 500 geckos. There are a lot of tips that I can share with on scaling, and you guys get a lot of those tips here on live streams, but I can do like very dedicated videos that are only going to be for like Patreon users and stuff like that. So live egg check, since you're all caught up on gecko care. Egg check? Ooh, I already did egg checks for today. But the reason I was saying that I can't do it live is because there's a lot of very specific information that I keep track of for eggs that I need to make sure that I don't mess up. Like when I'm checking eggs, sometimes I won't even listen to music until I'm in a groove. Once I'm in a groove and I make sure that everything is moving correctly, because I keep track of so many data points, and I need to make sure that every data point is accurate, and all of that kind of stuff. Dates for when to check that female next. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I keep track of. So I really have to be focused, is what I'm saying. So I apologize for that. But one day, I'm sure I will. You know what I mean? But for now, it's one of those things where I would prefer to be focused on it. And if I'm talking to a camera and showing things, sometimes that is a recipe for unfocused disaster, you know? I have a male black knight and a female black pearl. When I breed them, would the offspring come out black knight? So that's a great question. Supposedly, black pearl was developed separately than black knight. So let's just assume that I think that some of the black pearl line might already be mixed with black knight. But let's lay that thought aside. Let's say that black pearl is completely separate than black knight. No black knight was made to use black pearl to make the black pearl line. If that's the case and you combine the two, then it would be a black pearl black knight cross, and I would label it as such so that people know that you have genetics from black knight and genetics from black pearl to create a burl, right? Or a pack. That's my attempt of combining those two terms, black knight and black pearl, or black pearl and black knight. That's all. And you might get babies that are excellent, or you might get babies that are not so good. Black knight is a line bred trait, so that means every time you breed it, some of the babies are going to be better than the parents, worse than the parents, or the same as the parents. And that's typically if you're breeding black knight to black knight. If you are breeding black knight to another bloodline, like black pearl or something else that's not a dark bloodline, then there's room for non-blackness to happen, or less blackness. So, hope that makes sense. How do you mean You mean pulling? Oh, you mean pulling babies? That's another thing. There's a lot of data tracking that goes into pulling babies, and then also setting them up and writing down their labels and all that kind of stuff. So it's something that I really need to like be focused on, and I can't like be distracted for it. And so, since you lovely people are a great distraction for me in the best way possible, because you get me talking and sharing stuff about geckos. I just right now it's very difficult for me to do those very detailed things that I really need to keep track of very detailed information for to do those live. You know what I mean? I was saying earlier in this video that I might check Black Knights for ovulation, because that I could do. Our Black Knights specifically breed late for us in the year. So there's a lot of Black Knights that are just going into breeding now, and there are a lot of Black Knights that have not even started ovulating yet. So Black Pearl has a more purple tone. Yeah, that definitely could be. You know what I mean? I think Black Knight, Black Pearl, all of that is a little bit like tangerine. Like whenever you get a tangerine, it's very difficult to tell if that tangerine was mixed with other tangerine bloodlines. For example, if you buy an Infernal from somebody, that Infernal might have been mixed years prior with Mandarin or Electric or Gecko's Genetics or a Cloud. There's so many genetics that it could have been mixed with, and eventually it was just named Infernal by the breeder and passed on that way. So you never really know, and I think it's the same with like the Black Knight or the Carbon. You know, unless the breeder had kept really, really good track of the genetics and can assure you 100% that it is not mixed with certain things, you always have to assume that it's probably mixed or there's a high chance. So. Yeah, from what I hear, there's a reason why you don't see too many Black Pearls, Carbons anymore, is because Black Knight just held darkness a lot better than those lines. And so a lot of people just stuck with the Black Knight. At least that's what I heard. I really can't attest to anything more than that. So yeah, I don't know what is going on with the sound, but every once in a while the sound goes wonky, and so I apologize for that. It's probably because, sorry, this is going to sound really bad. I was reading up on it. It said maybe blow into the microphone jack outlet to see if like maybe there's some dust in there, but like. I might have to buy an actual microphone that can plug into my phone, because when Ron Tremper comes on, I definitely don't want the sound, going all wacky. So if I have a tangerine and a cipher, do 50% have the recessive cipher gene? No. If you have, let's use the whiteboard. We have the whiteboard. We might as well use the whiteboard, right? Alright, so we use the whiteboard here. So if you have a cipher gene, let's say the dad is cipher. The dad's going to be up here. He's cipher. And let's say the mom, she's going to be over here. Let's say she is the tangerine. I'm just going to put N for normal. When it comes to this genetic location on the gecko strand of DNA, the dad has 2 copies of the cipher gene. Because cipher is recessive, it takes 2 copies for it to show. The mom is normal. N, normal. She does not have any copies of the cipher gene. So when you cross, dad's genetics carry down. Every one of these boxes are going to have 1 copy of the cipher gene. And every one of these boxes are going to have 1 copy of the normal gene. So if you take a dad that's cipher and a mom that's non-cipher, 100% of the babies are going to be het cipher. Does that make sense? So you can watch this video back to see how I did the math, or you can, We have a lot of genetics videos, a lot of really good genetics videos. We have a whole series, so you can text me 480-299-7657, and I can send you the links to our series. We have like tons of videos on how to calculate different genetics. So yeah, I don't know why it sounds underwater. I apologize, guys. It does something weird like that. Yeah, Kyle, if you look at our Instagram or YouTube shorts, I've started showing some of the babies. And I took pictures of a bunch of the babies that are up to size for selling, and I'm going to put those on the website soon. The term Black Knight went viral, and the other ones just are being called Black Knight by a lot of pet stores. Oh yeah, definitely. That could definitely be so. Started doing this after you started using Melon, the mic issue. Yeah, I can use StreamYard to see if there's a difference, but you're absolutely correct. I think, here's what I think. Because I'm streaming, I'm not hooked up to my computer. I think the connection is not as good as when it's just a pure YouTube stream, right? So Melon connects to YouTube, and then YouTube connects to you guys. So there's a middleman. Melon is the middleman between me and you guys right now, and I think that there might be some lag or connection issues that is causing for the microphone issue. So give me 1 second. The sprinklers are coming on right now, and it's making this squeaky sound because the sprinklers are broken. All of our house chores get pushed to the bottom of the list around here. So we got broken door handles, broken bathroom handles, broken sprinkler systems, and thankfully I have an awesome old school dad that knows how to fix all that, and he comes over and fixes it, but he hasn't been able to fix it yet. He's been on some business trips, so I need to manually go out there and do something real quick. I'll be right back. All right, cool. We've been getting not hit with multiple HOA fees, but we got hit with the HOA fee recently, and we need to make sure our grass stays watered and stuff. So, all right, let's go on here to questions. Geckoasis, long time. Good to see you again as well. Yeah, the sound goes back to normal, in and out. It's crazy. It's terrible. I do think I need to invest in a microphone. It's just when I have the camera on the tripod, it's kind of awkward to like be placing microphones, and you have to buy like specific microphones and stuff like that. So thank you, Ray. Let's put that comment up. I appreciate you very, very much. So again, guys, if you missed it, I have a whiteboard today that I cleaned. So if you have any genetic questions or calculation questions, we could put it on the board. Now, until you have questions, I did a terrible job last week explaining how you calculate percentage of line bred traits. So based on the conversation that we were just having not too long ago, let's calculate if you have a black knight crossed with a black pearl, what percentage of the babies are going to be what genetics, okay? So let me see. It's kind of difficult for me to like hold this and do this. So I'm thinking I might go to the floor or something. But let's use the blue marker. If this gets too difficult, I will take away the blue marker. So let's say dad, and let's not make this confusing. I'm going to use something besides black knight so that it doesn't get confusing. Let's say dad is a black knight. Ooh, we got two colors, and this should make it easier. And let's say mom is, let's just say, do you want to make mom a snow or a normal? You want to just stick with black, like line bred stuff? We don't want to add other complications in there, right? So let's say mom is a normal. She is not black knight. She could be tangerine, she could be eclipse, she could be white and yellow, she could be any genetic you want that's just not black knight, right? When dad breeds to mom, he is going to pass on 50% of the darkness from black knight. So he's going to pass on 50% of black knight genetics to the baby. All right? So let's say the baby's right here. Here's the baby. From dad, the baby's going to get 50% black knight. From mom, the baby's going to get 50% normal. We'll label that norm. So can you see that so far? This isn't backwards, is it? Is it correct for you guys? It's not backwards, is it? If you can message this. Now the question is, what happens? That's pretty easy, right? A dad is 50%. I mean, a dad is 100% black knight. A mom is 0% black knight. You split the genetics, and the babies are 50%. But what happens when you start to go past this point? Okay, thank you, Slen. Let's say in scenario number 1, let's say you breed a black knight. So this is just one baby right here. The baby is 50% black knight, 50% normal. Let's say you breed this baby to a 100% black knight. We'll label that BN. Yes? So if you breed this baby, which is 50% black knight, to 100% black knight, the dad, again, the dad is going to pass on 50% black knight genetics. Because every time the dad passes on his genetics, it gets cut in half. Now the baby is already only 50% black knight. So if you cut the 50% in half again, it's 25% black knight. And now you have to add this baby's genetics, this baby's half genetics, with the gecko that it was paired with. It was paired with 100% black knights, half genetics. And if you take 50% and you add, this is where we're adding, you add 25% to it, now you have babies that are 75% black knight. So does that make sense? Let's stop here real quick. Everything that we covered, does that make sense? Ow! Darn it, I cut myself. What will I get when I breed my Mandarin Tangerine, Cross Raptor, and Emerine Tangerine Het Tremper? What do you mean that it's a cross raptor? Do you mean that it's het raptor? Because when you're dealing with genetics, you have to know absolutes. Like, is it possible raptor? Was it paired to a raptor? Like that mandarin tangerine you're talking about, was it paired to a raptor the season before? That's why you're calling it a mandarin tangerine cross raptor. If that's the case, then what you're saying is that it's a mandarin tangerine, het for eclipse, het for tremper albino. That's what you're telling me. If that's what you're telling me, then okay, I know what genetics we're talking about here. And if you cross that to an emerine tangerine that is het tremper, you will get all of the babies will be tangerine, and they're going to be mixed, right? So it's going to be mandarin, emerine, cross, tangerine. Some of the babies are going to come out tremper because there's tremper in both genetics, and the rest of the babies are going to be 50% het for eclipse. You know, unless sometimes there's genetics hiding in animals, unless your emerine tangerine is already het for eclipse and you just don't know it, then some of the babies will be eclipse, and some of the babies might even be mandarin emerine cross raptors. So if you're going to create a brand new line, what lines are a good base to start with? So you want to start with, if you're going to create a new line, you want to start with the best quality of the genes that you're mixing. So for example, we're creating new lines of stuff here. So years ago, 3 years ago, when I first started collecting geckos, I said to myself, what is the best white and yellows that I can get? What is the best tangerines that I can get? What is the best black knights that I can get? What are the purest wild types that I can get? What are the best snows that I can get? Get the best of everything that you want to mix together, and then start mixing it together. That's it. And of course, you always want to have your pure lines that are refining the best, right? So if you have a if you buy, if you want to mix tangerine and white and yellow, make sure you have some pairings dedicated to making better tangerines. And that's what I did for the first 3 years. I bred tangerine to tangerine, and that's all I did, because I wanted to make the best tangerines. And once I had the best tangerines, then I can breed it to the best white and yellows. You know, so I grew every line separate for 3 years. The tangerines, I only bred to tangerines. The white and yellows, I only bred to like white and yellow and old emerine stuff, because I wanted to create a certain look in the white and yellow. And then 3 years later, now you can start combining these lines together to create really, really unique looking animals. So my finger's bleeding. Look how much my finger's bleeding from. It wasn't even sharp. It's just the way that the angle hit me. It's like this piece of aluminum or something. So hope that answers the question. Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I see some people say that we encourage them to get back into the hobby. I don't want to dwell on the negative too much, but I think that the hobby just needs a lot of like fun and encouraging promotion, because leopard geckos have everything they need to be popular. You know, they have multiple colors. There are still a lot of different projects that we haven't gotten to yet. You know, like what would a black knight fasciolatus look like? What would a black knight afghanicus look like? Hopefully we have some of those this year. What would a tangerine fasciolatus look like? You know, and we're working on that this year. So I think wild types are the future. Breeding wild types into the macularis morphs is going to create stronger genetics, better looking genetics, and things that we haven't seen yet before. And so you just have to be creative whenever you're working with genetics and come up with like new and exciting things that people can work on. And that's what we're trying to do over here, you know, promote that. So I bred a male blood emerine het albino to het albino to a female raptor and some babies came out with full eclipse eyes, does that mean that the male is het eclipse also? That is exactly correct because eclipse is a recessive gene, meaning that both parents absolutely have to pass on the eclipse gene for the baby to be eclipsed. You know, you cannot get an eclipse baby from one parent being eclipsed. Both parents have to be carrying one or two copies of the eclipse gene to get eclipsed, so I hope that helps. This is like the time I got bit by this leopard gecko that I had, which I don't have anymore, but he bit and like tore into me and like I wouldn't stop bleeding for like 10 minutes, so cool beans, cool beans. We'll do 15 more minutes. 8:30 I'm going to log off, so if you have questions on genetics or if you want to see any more examples of stuff, let me know. While I'm waiting for your questions, I'm going to do another example. So if you missed our example of how to get a 75% black knight, now I'm going to show you how to get a 25% black knight. All right. So this baby is 50% black knight. Let's say you breed him to a mom. Oh no. I knew it was going to dry up on me. Anyway, if you bred this 50% baby to a mom that is normal, the mom is going to pass on no black knight genetics. And this baby is only 50% black knight, which means its genetics will be split in half, and that 50% is going to turn into 25% of the black knight genetics will carry on to the offspring. So 25% from the male carrying on plus 0% from the female that the female's passing on, you get 25%. And that's how you get 25% black knights. And every single time you breed that black knight to a non-black knight, the genetics get cut in half, time and time again. So we are in Gilbert, Arizona. So we do shows out here in Arizona. We ship nationwide. I would like to get like an importing, exporting license one day, but that's something else that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to get started. So we're not ready for that yet, but I would like to work with like importers, exporters. What do you do when a gecko egg has a big dent? It might be denting because it needs more humidity. So you might want to spray a little bit more water in the substrate. It could be denting because it's getting ready to hatch, or it could be denting because it's a bad egg. So check the substrate. If the substrate is dry, give it a little bit more water, a little bit more humidity. Make sure the temperatures are right. For leopard geckos, you want to keep them between 79 to 90. Those are like the max ranges. And if all of that is correct, then it could just be a bad egg. Bad eggs do happen. Embryos die. Eggs are infertile. All of that kind of stuff does happen. So that's a great question. We'll put that up on screen. No, 70 to 90 degrees. Sorry, if I said humidity, that's wrong. 70 to 90 degrees is the temperature. 79 to 90 degrees is the temperature range that you want to keep leopard gecko eggs at. As far as humidity, you want to do a 1-to-1 ratio of substrate to water. So if you're using eco-earth, perlite, vermiculite, whatever substrate you're using, you want to do a 1-to-1 mixture of water to that substrate. And if you need an example of that, earlier in this live stream, watch it back, because in the first few minutes of this live stream, somebody asked how we set up our baby eggs, and I was able to show it live on camera, how we add the water and all of that. And if you need a more in-detailed video, we have a video on incubation. So search on YouTube, Geeky Gecko Creations Incubation. And I actually have a 40-minute incubation video that talks to you and shows you step by step how to incubate eggs like a pro so that you can have the best success possible. Do you have an email list or an estimate when you'll have some of your Mandarin babies available? Yes. So if you go to our website right now, you can get on our email list. As soon as you get onto the website, a little box will pop up and you can put your email in there, and then you can add it to the list. Now, if you follow us on Instagram, you can see some of the Mandarin Infernal crosses that babies that we're going to have for sale like over the next week. So if you're really, really interested, you can hit me up ahead of time. 480-299-7657. That's my phone number. That's the best way to reach me. If not, we're going to be doing a huge website update over the next week. And I've already been taking pictures and showing some of those pictures on Instagram. Check us out at Geeky Gecko Creations. You can see some of the babies that we'll be putting up for sale. And yeah, if hit me up ahead of time. If there's a specific baby that you really, really like on some of our Instagram posts, you can let me know. If not, as soon as I update the website, I'm going to make an announcement on all our social media platforms. Jump onto that website right away and reserve the gecko that you want. At that point, it's just like who emails me first, you know, to get the babies. But we will absolutely have some awesome babies for sale here over the next week or so. I just got done literally taking hundreds of pictures of these babies, and I need to update them. So, hi, I just got on. I have a question. Do you need to change supplements if you supply UVB? That is a great question. Yes. If you supply a strong amount of the appropriate UVB and you see your gecko basking in the UVB, that means that you want to offer calcium with no D3. If you do not use UVB, then that means that you want to offer calcium with D3. We also have a supplementation video, which you could watch. So in the YouTube search bar, type in Geeky Gecko Creations supplementation, and you will be linked to our supplementation video that shows and talks in extreme detail more about that. But there's the answer to your question. As far as vitamins are concerned, check the vitamins to see if it has D3 or not, and then it falls into the same category. If you're using UVB and you see that your gecko is basking under UVB, then you'll want to use vitamins without D3. If your gecko is does not have UVB, then you'll want to use vitamins with D3. So, if you mix blood with tangerine and the babies come out orange, how do you know if it's blood or tangerine? So blood is tangerine. Blood is a type of tangerine. So a few minutes ago, I just showed what happens when you start mixing black knight into other genetics. Every time you take a certain line bred genetic and mix it to another genetic that's not the same, like if you take a blood and mix it to a non-blood, the babies are going to be carrying 50% of the blood genetics. And I showed in a black knight demonstration how you calculate the genetics to get 75% black knight or 25% black knight, and it's the same for blood. But essentially, blood is a type of tangerine. So if you mix blood with mandarin, the babies are going to be 50% blood, 50% mandarin, is one way you could put that. We're located in Arizona. So we are in Gilbert, Arizona. All right, 5 minutes, guys. We got 5 minutes, so let me know if there's anything that you want me to answer in 5 minutes. I appreciate all 18 of you that are here, especially since I have not been very consistent to get that many people. Really, really appreciate it. When we were more consistent, we were starting to get into like the 30s and 40s. Let's put your comment on stream here. Do I need to bake organic topsoil for reptiles? Actually, that's a fantastic question. Um, Sometimes I will go to Home Depot and I will buy organic topsoil, organic peat moss, and organic sand. Now, I've never noticed any bugs in organic sand. Um, and the reason you want to buy organic is because topsoil and peat moss can be mixed with fertilizer and other chemicals. But if you buy organic, that means that there's no fertilizer, no chemicals in it. But it does not mean that there's no bugs in it. And so something that I've noticed about organic topsoil or organic peat moss is that it will have little microbes and bugs in it. And so that's one of the reasons why I still use eco earth to make human hides for my geckos, is because I don't want the geckos laying eggs inside of a substrate that could have little bugs in it that might eat the eggs. So if you buy eco earth, it's already like purified for the most part and stored so that all that stuff dies. But if you buy organic topsoil or peat moss from Home Depot, that stuff is not purified and you're going to have bugs in there. So even though I'm 99% sure that you'll be perfectly fine to use it without baking it for like human hides and stuff, I just haven't taken that risk right now. But to answer your question, yeah, if you bake it or freeze it, you're going to stand a lot better chance that it's going to kill any bugs or microbes that are in that soil, and then now you can use it for human hides or incubating eggs. But if you're using it for substrate, you absolutely do not need to worry about baking it, because microbes and little bugs that might be in the organic topsoil, those will help decompose poo and pee from your leopard gecko in the tank. So it's actually beneficial to have little microbes and little bugs in the organic topsoil if you're not worried about eggs, your female laying eggs. But if you're like me and you're worried about the female laying eggs and then those eggs getting eaten by little microbes and stuff that are in the topsoil, then you might want to bake it just in case the microbes eat your eggs. Even though I'm like 99.99999% sure that that's not going to be a problem, you might want to bake it. I haven't done it before, so I just need to put the disclaimer out there that it's possible that those little microbes and bugs that come in organic topsoil from like Home Depot could potentially eat away at your eggs. So I hope that helps. Yeah, you can bake it or freeze it if you're concerned about eggs. But again, if you're not concerned about eggs, I set the baby tegus and stuff when I bring them inside, like at the end of summer, when I did set them up inside, I would set them up in organic topsoil, organic peat moss, and organic play sand, all from Home Depot. And I think I actually have a video on this. A substrate video. It might have been like for Savannah monitors at the time. But if you do 1/3 organic soil, 1/3 organic peat moss, and 1/3 organic play sand, all from Home Depot, it's called washed play sand in the concrete section. That makes a great mixture for digging and burrowing, and I think your geckos will really like it. If you're using sand, I would make sure that you have a hot spot of about 110 degrees for the leopard gecko, so that if it's ingesting a little bit of sand every now and then by licking around the tank, it can have a high temperature to digest that sand. So you got 2 blood tremper sun glows. You bred them. Babies are all turning more orange after each shed. Morph calculator says 100% babies are tremper. Possible blood. Possible super hypo, etc. Yeah, that's probably because the morph calculator doesn't calculate line bred traits as like 100%. So like if you put black knight in there or blood or mandarin, it's probably going to show that the babies are always possible black knight, possible blood, possible mandarin, because at the end of the day, what is 100% Black Knight? That Black Knight was made from so many geckos that were not 100% Black Knight. That can you really call it 100% Black Knight? So that's probably why the morph calculator calls it possible. So you are welcome, gamer. If both, yeah, so if both parents are blood, tremper, sun glows, then the babies are all going to be blood, tremper, sun glows. But again, a sun glow is what, like super hypo? Some sun glows were mixed with other lines of tangerine. And same with the blood. Like, I don't know who you got your bloods from, but it's possible that whoever you got your bloods from might have used Mandarin or Electric or Clown to make some of those bloods, or Inferno, and then they just labeled it blood. And so now you have an animal that you think is just pure blood, but it might already be mixed with other lines of tangerine. And that's okay. If it's as long as it's a hot gecko, a good quality gecko, call it whatever you want. It's a good quality gecko. But when keeping track of genetics, I think a lot of people just didn't keep track of genetics, and so a lot of names are just mixed in the hobby. And you might have like an excellent looking Mandarin tangerine, but when you trace that gecko's lineage all the way back, it might be part Clown, it might be part Electric, it might be part Emarine. You know, all of that stuff. So we'll see you guys. Our 5 minutes is up. Some of you guys are saying you have to leave. I appreciate all you guys being here. I will try to be back here next Monday for another Geeky Gecko Creations Live. In the meantime, I'll be dropping videos on Instagram and YouTube daily. So follow us on those platforms to get updated with where we are at in the selling process, the promotion process, and the growth process. So I love you guys. I thank you so much. I'm going to grab something to eat, maybe watch a little TV here with Whitney, and then breed some geckos tonight. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Have a geeky gecko great night. Peace.